Welcome, beautiful yogis. It is time for us again to reset our nervous system through the beautiful gift of restorative yoga. So you will need your props, your blocks, your bolster, your blankies, and we will begin with the reclining pose that I like to call the open book pose. So, setting up your props. We lie back on that recliner. We have our side blankies available to support legs, thighs, and even elbows. You can pull those blankies up to accommodate your elbows as well. And then the feeling of the shoulders hanging in space and obedient to gravity. Gravity says, come on down, come on down. And so the shoulders open. And as the shoulders fall away and open, the heart space opens too. Can you put your feet together, soles of the feet together? Make sure that your head is comfy and that your palms are rolled open. And please close your eyes and take a moment to drop into your own being. This is a checking in moment. How is it now? I like to think of it as a before photograph. And then we'll check in at the end again and just notice the gift of restoring ourselves, becoming mindful. Even as you rest here, we're dropping into mindfulness, allowing everything that is here to be exactly as it is. If you are physically uncomfortable in a way that moving your props or your butt a little bit would be more comfortable, then do that. For some of us, we have some chronic pain. Can you allow that to be? With all that in place, let's take a lovely deep nose breath in. And it's that big breath, and we're going to hold it a moment and then blow it away. We'll do a few more of these. Deeply in through your nose. Little pause, a hand out through the pursed lips. And as we did. So these lovely slow breaths begin our journey into deeper quietude, greater centeredness, and that centeredness is physical as well, as you're lying right in the middle of your props. But it's also centered in our mind, letting the breath become the point of focus, the feeling of the body, and the welcoming of all that arises for you here. Dropping into the here, the now, and a few more, let's say 2 more of these exhalations through the pursed lips, that wonderful vehicle for calling in the parasympathetic nervous system, that part of our system that says, you are safe, you can relax, you can let go now. Continuing the slow, deep breaths, put your exhalation through your nose. And so there could be a little pause at the top of your breath, just a short one. The nose exhalation and the small pause at the end of the breath. This is how we are showing up in this moment. This commitment to breath, to body, mind, and through it all, to our deep, deep nature. Our deep, deep nature that is so connected to all that is. We are connected via our breath that nurtures, nourishes, expands and opens, and then says, as we exhale, I am safe. I can let go. All is well. And so allowing yourself now these long, slow breaths with little pauses. This knowing that we are deeply connected to all that is. And not only that, we are connected to one another just as deeply. We are the web of life. We are part of the web of life. And so it's truly the old story to think of ourselves as separate, alone, guilty, unworthy. These, my beautiful yogis, you know, these are the old thought forms and the old story that many of us were raised by. And as we enter this new period in human history, this awakening, this grand awakening that we're in, we come to realize and embody our connectedness, our interbeingness. Each breath keeping you linked in your mind to Source. To know that to connect through our breathing, through our community, and doing it together. Here towards the end of the afternoon, when the rays of the sun are getting low and we are moving, shifting from day into night, it's always been considered a very auspicious time for prayer, for centering, for meditating. And in our case, we're doing it all as our body drapes over the props and we can relax deeply. Each exhalation, letting go the old story of unworthiness, the old story of not being enough, and not getting it right. These are old thought forms. With each exhalation, we breathe them away. With the awakening to this realization that the yogis taught all those thousands of years ago, now verified by the quantum scientists, that we are in the web of life. The carriers of this truth have, of course, been the First Nations, the shamanic people who never got so deeply into science. They carried that wisdom that we so need at this time. So allow each breath to be a reassurance of being safe, of being supported and connected. And let that exhalation be complete, resting in that little moment of no breath. And even as we are awakening to the new story, the old world is crashing, shattering around us. And think of it as our old concepts about the nature of reality, also shattering and dissolving away. We live now in a mythic time of choice. This time of stupendous scientific discoveries which are enlarging our vision of the universe. Through technology, we are able to see the tiniest creature. We've all now looked into the face of a bee and the face of a spider. And we find that they are absolutely beautiful. How different is that to the aversion and the fear and the squeals of, "Ooh, get that out of here"? We're all changing, and we're learning to love the little creatures that are all around us, and that we can see and recognize and honor in a new way. And it's so direct when we can see it personally. If you're like me, you could get really absorbed into watching little YouTube videos of animals that we thought were mortal enemies and would devour the bigger, devouring the smaller. Now they play together. Very playful, a bird and a cat playing. Such a lovely, lovely thing to see. How we can love this world and love our life as we rest and breathe. Breathing in, I receive all that I need. Breathing out, I let go all that I no longer need. How the breath can be the vehicle for this evolution, this revolution, this profound growth that we're in. How we can remind one another. It's very easy to go back to what we've been taught. Those are very well-worn pathways. And it takes a lot to catch our self-talk of shame or guilt or unworthiness. We have to catch ourselves and say, oh, no, not now. Invite you to take just 3 more lovely breaths in this shape. the invitation now, as you rest in the open book, is to, on an inhalation now, let your arms float up to the vertical place. So they're pointing straight up towards the ceiling, and then as you exhale, bend your elbows and put your thumb in the opposite elbow. And then see if you can position your forearms on your brow or over your head. Now that'll just depend on how your body is built. But the elbows are high, creating a little bit more space under the arms. And then we're here for just a few more breaths, experiencing now the inhalation that rises low in the belly and moves up through the ribs, and then fills not only the top of the chest, but the underarms. Can you feel that? So we're really filling the ribs, the lungs fully, and then slowly out through the nose, from the top, through the ribs, down to your abdomen. This raised arm position facilitating a deeper rising of your inhale. And a great ease to your exhale. One more, please. And at the end of your breath, bring your arms back up. Extend your arms up to straight. Interlace your fingers, and then turn your palms away and push your palms towards the ceiling. Feel that in your wrists and your fingers and your knuckles, your elbows. Lovely. And then flip your palms again, unwrap your hands, shake them out, and then help your knees back up together. Walk your feet a little bit apart, scooch your buttocks away, and then we'll roll to one side to come up for our next shape. And so our next shape is going to be the child's pose with a twist. And we'll begin on the left buttock, creating a platform blankie for your left butt. Sidle up. Your second blankie can support your right knee. You might stretch your right leg out or keep it bent. And we face the bolster with the trunk lifting up, coming forward to lie down. On the left ear, with the arms now falling forward, dropping deep, and allowing now that little rotation from your waist. Stable hips, that left butt and hip is steady. And we've revolved the spine. Some of you might even revolve your head leftwards. See if it feels good. Being here, fill your back body. Fill your back body with your breath. And so one of the old stories that we are asked to relinquish at this time is the myth of the fall of Adam and Eve, recounted in the book of Genesis. That gives us a very negative view of our presence on this planet. It tells us that we were expelled, we were thrown out of the Garden of Eden, because our primordial ancestors disobeyed God and ate from the fruit of the tree of knowledge. This story does not give us the image of our innate divinity and our inseparable relationship with the divine. our inseparable relationship to the earth, the garden. It tells us we've been exiled from it. And for too many centuries, we've been imprinted with the idea that we are fallen, sinful creatures condemned to a life of toil and hardship on this planet. And it has left us with a legacy of guilt and fear and a sense of sinfulness and unworthiness, as well as helplessness. And the Christian story tells us we have been redeemed from this fallen state by the sacrificial death of the Son of God. But this only applies to Christians. And it also removes from us the responsibility of releasing ourselves, not so much from the state of sin as from a state of ignorance. And we're discovering how to reconnect our consciousness with the eternally present divine ground within us and around us while living in this dimension of reality. So as you rest and breathe, allow each breath to connect you to Source, to God, to the divine, to all that is. We have many words for this. Presence, loving awareness. And my invitation is for you to choose the word that feels right in your heart. I am, say, loving awareness, or I am presence. And you might do it this way. I am on inhale, and then the word that you choose, exhaling all that is. So each breath becomes a prayer, a mantra. In the language that comes from your own heart. And just 2 more breaths on this left side of the child's pose. We'll make our way up. Use your hands. Be aware if you press your hands into the ground, pushing that away. to push against gravity to come up. We need to be grounded to come up. And then we're going to plop down on the right buttock. So scooching your knees or sliding on your bum. Come onto your right butt cheek. As we did, rise to face, align with the bolster, and come forward to lie on it, connect with it, rest on the bolster. This time on your right cheek. We're on the right butt. The shoulders continue to relax forward. We continue to spread across the back. And we continue to breathe all the way into the back. The second story that we need to relinquish to move into this awakened, embodied, divine state is the current scientific worldview that material reality is the only reality, and that consciousness begins and ends with the brain. Science gives us a story about our relationship with the universe that is as negative and as depressing as that first story, telling us that we are alone in a randomly created, uncaring universe that is without life, meaning, or purpose, and that when we die, that is the end of us. Science clings to the idea that the physical brain is the origin of consciousness, that the death of one must therefore mean the death of the other. Science, with its recent discoveries, is giving us a breathtaking revelation of the 100 billion galaxies that are an essential part of the new story. But its limited view of nature and the origin of consciousness blocks our access to the deeper meaning of our lives, and above all, to a profound sense of relationship with the universe, and opening our consciousness to the existence of its invisible dimensions. And above all, this understanding holds the awareness that our presence on this planet has purpose and meaning, and that we can assist the evolutionary intention of the cosmos, instead of living out our lives in profound ignorance of it. And if we hold a view of our potential and destiny that is limited to a material universe and our present state of consciousness, we're living in a virtual prison. However, quantum science is taking us beyond this view. Resting and breathing in your connected state. Each breath, your connection, your mantra, your personal connection. It's truly beautiful to be in this awareness as our body relaxes in this shape, this very gentle child's pose with a twist. So allow in the goodness, the feel-goodness of this. As soon as we feel good, the body floods with full feel-good chemicals. We've got our own little pharmacopoeia, and it's run by our thoughts. Stressy thoughts or stressy chemicals in the body. Loving thoughts, those wonderful feel-good substances that are built into our being. And we can do it ourselves by choosing the positive thought, choosing the new paradigm, practicing it until it is real, moment by moment and breath by breath. And so it has been postulated that we live in a holographic universe, that the universe is one whole hologram. And so a hologram is a shape of patterns that repeats itself over and over. So if you take a little bit of it, it would be the same as the pattern you'd see in the big piece or in the whole. And that means that each and every one of us is part of the hologram. And if the entire hologram is divine intelligence, source itself, the creative force, we too are that. I am that. Tat Tvam Asi, the yogis said over and over and over, to imprint. And so, yogis, we complete now, very gently, this shape, using again your hands. Push back to fours. We take a straight spined shape to follow. That could be child's pose. So you'd sit on your feet and lie forward over your bolster, long and straight. Or you can lie on your tummy in what we call crocodile pose, where your legs would be extended out behind you. So it's very important you pick the right shape. If your knees hurt, please do not do child's pose. rather lie on your belly. Now the bolster under the belly helps give your back a bit of space. And so we lie fully stretched out on the tummy. And continuing to bring the breath into the back. And so what science is telling us now, the new story coming into being, is that the whole universe is a unified field. And the world we experience is like a minute excitation on the surface of an infinite cosmic sea which sustains not only our world, but the entire cosmos. And we live within a cosmic web of life, which underlies and connects all forms in the universe and our planet. And through a vast network of electromagnetic fields, we are connected to the Earth, the Sun, and 100 billion galaxies. So we're not separate from any aspect of planetary or cosmic life. And the yogis have this beautiful image of the net of Indra. And it can be imagined as a shining golden net surrounding our planet and connecting all forms of life on it. But it also embraces not only the planetary life, but all galactic life in the cosmos. Through this shimmering web of life and light, all existence, whether seen or unseen, is an indissoluble, let me say that word again, an indissoluble unity. We are not only in this incandescent web of life, we are part of it. The astounding discovery of quantum physics tells us that we are literally bathed in a sea of light, invisible to us, yet permeating every cell of our being. In essence, we are beings of light, cosmic beings. As long ago as the 6th century BC, the Greek philosopher Parmenides said, "We are divine beings having a human experience, and it's an utter tragedy. The people have no awareness of their innate divinity." At the quantum level, all apparently separate aspects of life are connected in one invisible and indivisible whole. So we, as observers, are not separate from what we are observing. All life at the deepest level is essentially one. We're not only connected with each other through the astonishing reach of the internet, but through the infinitesimal particles of subatomic matter. I just love that. Let it in. Know that it is real. So beautiful, yogis. Gently make your way out of child's pose or crocodile pose. Certainly, if you've been in child's pose, give your legs a little stretch, one at a time, or even do a downward dog if you're up for it. Just opening the back of the knees. And now we're going to set up with our tabletop for seated forward bend. You can use your blocks to create your table and your blankie to sit on. And you can know in your body, or what you might choose today, cross-legged or straddle legs. But be far enough away that you're not hunched, and have your tabletop high enough that you're not hunched. So we rest on the brow. This frontal lobe making contact with either your wrist, your hand, or your pillow is also a very calming gesture. It's a little message. So our cells are always listening. Our cells know before we do consciously that we're stressed. And they do everything that's needed. Give us the energy, the adrenaline to do what's needed. And sometimes that runs a life of its own when it's no longer needed because we haven't released it. And that's when we get into trouble. That's where Buddha would say we are suffering. And medical doctors would say we're putting ourselves at risk for illness when we are stressed without needing to be stressed. So these breathing practices, these stretches that we do together, it's a lovely gift that you are giving yourself. As you breathe, let me remind you what I know you've heard this, you know this. But to hear it again so that it can go in and become very real, I love to share this with you. Through the emerging science of unified physics, a new cosmology is being born. A new vision of our profound relationships with an intelligent, living, and interconnected universe. This new story tells us that matter cannot be separated from spirit. Not only that, but at every level of existence, from the microscopic to the supergalactic, the same geometric principles brings all things into manifestation. Increasing numbers of us are awakening to what Thomas Berry has been called the dream of the cosmos, the dream of humanity engaging in a new role on this planet, a role that is once again in harmony with the evolutionary intention of the cosmos. And as we begin to comprehend this new story, the realization is dawning that we are participating in a cosmic consciousness or intelligence which is present in every one of the 100 million atoms of our being and every particle of matter. How about that? And so to realize that is an immense task and daunting. But we do have the power to change course, to bring ourselves into alignment with the cosmos, to listen to the neglected voice of our soul. God or spirit or divine mind is not something transcendent to us, separate from us. We are within it, coexisting with it, and it is within us. And we are both the source and the seeker. And even though our consciousness is still limited or incomplete, unaware that we carry divinity within us, that we are part of source from which all life has emerged. This is one of the great revelations of our time. Know it and feel it. Breathe it. The more we understand and embody this truth, the more powerful we become, and the more that we can help this evolution, this moving forward of consciousness. We are doing it ourselves. And so, beautiful yogis, slowly make your way up to sit. And I'd love to sit a few minutes in pranayama. So if you need to lean against a wall, do that. Sit on a chair, do that. And just closing your eyes, feeling your breath. And just for a couple of minutes, we're going to breathe the following pattern. It'll be in for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, and out for a count of 8. Are you ready? Exhale completely. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathing out, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Relax as you hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slowly out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay focused. In, 2, 3, 4. Relaxed, holding off the breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathing out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you cue yourself now on your own? In for 4, hold 7, out 8. 2 more rounds. Last one. As you complete, let go the count, the measuring, and just let your breath breathe you. See how that is. Notice how it feels. Letting go all the controlling, the diligence. Natural breath. That particular breath pattern hit the news this week. You might have seen it on CNN. Its roots are in pranayama, and that particular pattern was developed by Dr. Andrew Weil. It's a lovely one for calming us, good one to do if you wake up in the night. Nice, everybody. So our next pose is going to be lying on your back, legs up the wall or legs over your tabletop. If you're not sure how to do that, I'm just demonstrating legs over the tabletop. If you have a wall, get right close to your wall so that your sit bones touch the baseboard and your legs are straight up the wall, or using your setup that's already here. And so as you now let your back settle, and you'll feel how nice that is. Counter pose from the forward bends and the twists. Now we're on the back with the shoulders, the upper back completely supported. How we can let go whatever challenge that previous pose might have brought you. Resting in your lovely natural breath. Feeling what's here. And so the inversions in the yoga palette of poses is so good for our circulation. Whenever the legs are higher than the heart has less work to do to bring it all up to the brain, bring the blood up to the brain. And we've been doing this beautiful conscious breathing so our blood is oxygenated. Not pumped up, just calmly enriched. So we can truly surrender to this time, this place, this shape. This spark of divinity. That is me, that is you, that is us. We've all got that same pattern of creation. That same cosmic imprint. It's so beautiful because we can give up all the striving of having to know and study and remember. At this moment, none of that's needed. I am enough. You are enough. Inviting you now to bring your awareness to your heart. As you inhale, sense energy moving from your heart to your throat, to your third eye, through your crown into the cosmos. This is your inhalation, reaching up into the cosmos. And then ready to exhale, coming back through the crown, the third eye, the throat, exhaling at the heart. Tracing this pattern as you breathe. Inhale heart, throat, brow, crown, cosmos. And then the exhale, cosmos, crown, third eye, throat, and heart. Stay with this beautiful imprinting of your breath, connecting heart to all that is. That inhale reaches upwards. And then the exhale brings it down into this body, through the energy centers, to complete itself at the heart. Best you can, keep this flow of breath with cosmic energy, bringing it down as you exhale through the portals of your energy centers, and rising up on breath in. Completing this visualizing breath, taking a moment to sense your body exactly as it is, your body-mind exactly as it is. Spirit, soul, cosmic light, the divine itself embodied in this physical form. That is you, and that is me. We complete this pose by drawing the knees in, rolling over to your side to set up for supported bridge. Everything moves. The pillow blankie above, your mat, your blocks at the bottom. Your bolster is going to come under your hips, so lovely to just lie on your back and then draw the bolster under your butt. Not sure, you can have a little look-see at your screen. It's really nice to snuggle your upper back, your shoulders onto the ground. And you can leave your knees bent, or you could slide them and let your feet hang or rest on your blocks. Now we are in this full shape, immortalized human form by Michelangelo. Resting this way. A human form that is divine. And so this extraordinary cosmos that we are beginning to get a tiny inkling of, that is God or Spirit or Divine Mind, at the very heart of it is a love of unimaginable dimensions, a love that sustains the entire universe and is the origin of our own capacity to love, to cherish, to protect, as well as to create through all the different gifts we carry within our nature. If God or Spirit is the intelligence and the energy of the life process itself, then how we treat planetary life and each other becomes a matter of how we are treating God. And so that arrogant celebration of man's conquest of nature can be replaced by the realization that we need to respect, safeguard, and cherish each other, as well as the planetary life of which we are a part. Recognizing the sacredness of all of life. And So beautiful yogis, let's gently transition now to our final pose. Move the blanket under your head, move the bolster underneath your knees. Keep or remove the blocks. This final shape, Shavasana, is where we go the deepest inward connection with Source. As you settle and find your most supported and lovely position, invite you to come back to that same meditative breath we did a moment ago, where the inhale begins at your heart, draws upwards to your throat, to your third eye, through your crown, into the cosmos, reaching your inhalation, and then the exhalation coming back down through the crown, the brow, the throat, and the heart. And here it comes again, moving up. The inhale is that upward reaching, and the exhale bringing it down into the body. As the next inhale occurs, you might enjoy the mantra. As we breathe in, I am divine. And as we breathe out, divine, I am. See how that feels. As you exhale again, the sense of this light from the cosmos flowing down through your entire body, to include now your lower body and your feet and the space around you. To know that we have now a stream of cosmic light flowing in through the crown, and filling the whole body. And how you can just lie in that stream of infinite light and love. The glue of the universe, what it's made of is love. And so bathing in this light-filled love, streaming through your body around you. Be here, bathe. So that you are truly a light being. Whether you're thinking about it or not, you're truly a light being. And in the recognition of that, we transmit this knowing to the field around us. We can do it consciously, transmitting now this loving light to the field around us, and we can direct it very specifically to the ones who we love. Just letting it flow. We just lightly touch our awareness and our loved ones as they come up. And all are blessed with this beautiful stream, this great abundance that flows through us. There is no end to it. So filling your home, filling your family, filling your workplace, filling your down, this entire country, and this beautiful planet Gaia, with all the creatures that live on it. All of it carries this consciousness, this light. Our planet Earth radiating light and linking in with the cosmic light that's all around. And so it is. Feel your breath. Feel your physical body. Slowly, gently begin to stir, to move it. Little wiggling of fingers and toes, hugging in. Rolling onto your side, curled up small. And please come on up to sit as we'll complete our practice in the yogi seat with prayerful hands. so grateful to practice with you. I so hope you got deeply relaxed and connected to all that is. So beautiful to have this time together. See you soon, and namaste.